Welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to a particularly grotty day at Groningen Airport, Eelde. I'm not sure how that is properly pronounced, but that's how it's written on a little nav map. We're going to be flying today to Brussels National Airport. We're going to be flying for Andras Meridian Airlines, and we're going to be doing full ATC, full IFR, and at this point I will remind you, I'm a complete rookie at doing this kind of flying. Flying around in warbirds in great weather is one thing, but doing ATC, IFR flying, procedures, all that kind of thing for the airline where I'm going to be rated in this kind of weather is loading it all in. So it should be quite an interesting one for you. I should say at this point we do have a Discord. I'll put the link down below if you'd like to pop into that. We do group flights, you can post screenshots, just talk about aeroplanes, all that kind of thing. Great bunch of people. Would be good to see you there. But for today, sit back, relax if you can, and you're going to see a complete rookie. I've done a few flights with the ATC now. This is the first time I've certainly done a video using the proper checklist for this Black Square King Air. A lot to go through. It will take time. This is not a tutorial. This is just for your entertainment and for my learning process. Let's go. Right, here we go. Well, at least it has stopped raining now, which is quite good, quite nice. But once we get above those clouds, it's just going to be glorious, and that's one of the great pleasures of flying, I think. So, a few things to set up. What I will say at this point is, if you're not interested in checklists and all that sort of thing, then do feel free to jump forward. If I remember, I'll put a link down in the description below so that you can jump ahead. It's not something you normally see on this channel, but for anyone who is interested in seeing the checklist being worked through, enjoy. Oh, I'm laughing because it wasn't that long ago that I would have dreaded anything like this, but I'm getting strangely addicted to operating this King Air. It is absolutely beautiful. So where are we at the moment? We've got power off. I have got I've got the flight plan and everything loaded up into Pilot2ATC. Huge thank you to Dreams of Wings community Discord member Manic Miner for putting me in the direction of this. Really handy little tool. I haven't done VATSIM. I'll tell you a bit more about the air traffic control side of it once we get airborne. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've done VATSIM once with UK Jim. Shout out to you, my friend. Twitch streamer. I'll put a link down below to him. He introduced me to VATSIM, doing some VFR circuit work at Liverpool, and that was really interesting. But one of the things I love about Pilot2ATC is that I've got ATC wherever I go, every single airport, and it's always there for you, although you do get the kind of robotic voice and some of the phraseology is slightly different, but it provides that kind of service that is great for adding some immersion to these VA flights that I'm doing. Anyway, so I've got Pilot2ATC set up. I've done my flight plan in SimBrief, which is what I've used as the base. I'm new to Navigraph, I'm new to SimBrief, but SimBrief is a really useful tool. And once we get powered up and everything, I need to put the flight plan into the TDS GTN XI. So many things to remember. Right, okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is power up, and we're going to get our clearance so that we've got everything sorted out there. So let's get some battery on, put the avionics on, and also we'll pick up the ATIS as well. Boom, boom, boom. Bear with. So what's our ATIS here?
TAS system test OK.
No, it's there already. 133.55.
Eelde Information Hotel, 1025 Zulu, winds are 158 at 7 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 4,900 broken. Temperature 6, dew point 4. Current QNH is 1020. Arriving and departing runway 23. Eelde Information Hotel, 1025 Zulu.
Okay, so while we're here, let's just bang the QNH in. 1020, so that's quite high. There we go. And what did we say? We're using runway 23, which is great because that's what we were expecting. Okay. Anything else? Yes, let's get the clearance. So popping over here, I'm just looking at Pilot2ATC now because it's really handy. It gives you all your frequencies and that kind of thing as well. So looking for 121.7, and very cleverly that's already in there. In fact, I know why it's in there because I have got it set up. You can have different levels with Pilot2ATC. You can have the program responding to ATC, and you can also have the virtual co-pilot responding to ATC, and you can also have him or her popping in the frequency, the next frequency, or doing the frequency changes. I've got it set up for me doing the responding and for the co-pilot doing the frequency changes. I'm going to leave that in there because that's quite useful. And the co-pilot, where have you gone? We'll do that for us. So if I switch over now, there we go. And this is one of those airports that seems to have different names, but the ATC here, or certainly on the ATIS, called it something else. So let's just have a quick look. And I'm really sorry for any Dutch people. My pronunciation isn't going to be very good. Here we go. Eelde, I think the robot called it. Again, my apologies to any Dutch people. Isn't that amazing? I'll pop outside to give you a nice outside view, and it starts raining again. Well, that's just the weather today. Anyway, come on, we need to get this clearance. Eelde ground, Meridian 234, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Meridian 234 is cleared to Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo. Climb via the PAM 3D departure, with the PAM transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 23. Climb to flight level 120 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 7 minutes after departure. Approach on 120.3. Squawk 5252.
Meridian 234 is cleared to Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo. Climb via the PAM 3D departure with the PAM transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 120 via the departure. Expect higher clearance 7 minutes after departure. Approach on 120.3. Squawk 5252.
Meridian 234 rear back correct. QNH is 1020. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready to taxi. Enjoy your morning.
QNH 1020 tower on 118.7 Meridian 234. Good day. Okay. You do have to speak to it sometimes in a slightly slow way because otherwise it doesn't recognize you. So that's why I'm sounding a little bit like I am talking to you like this. Right. Okay. So we've got our clearance and now we can power down again. Right. Just doing a few quick checks. I've checked that I got my FS Airlines client connected up, which it is, because that's always embarrassing if you take off without that connected, then you do a complete flight and you've achieved nothing. So that at the moment is in boarding status. For that is what we are doing. Because this is obviously this is the black square analog, but because it's based on the default Asobo, we've got no passengers in the back and we've got no opening doors and that sort of thing, which is a bit of a shame because we're able to do that in the C414 that you may have seen on the previous flight, which is quite good. Right, I must stop waffling because we've got a lot to get through here. So let's crack on with following through the checklist. We've done the pre-flight inspection. Emergency lights are it says locked, they're off. SDED door is unlocked, can't do that on here. Cabin loading is complete. Yeah, let's assume that they're all in the back. Seatbelts and harnesses secure. Everyone buckled up. Good. Crack on. Right, parking brake is set. Let's just quickly cycle that. It is now. Control locks have been removed. Standby and crossfeed pumps are off. Pilot circuit breakers are all in. Let's just pop the torch on because it's a bit murky in here today. Yeah, that's all good. Battery bus is norm. There we go. It is. Gang bar is down. External power is off. Avionics master is off. Auto ignition is off. AC inverters are off. Bus sense normal. Bus ties normal. Engine anti-ice as required. I am going to pop that on. Wrong one. Why is it going? Because I'm going between the... Here we go. Boom. Boom. Anti-ice actuators are set to main. Starters are off. Auto feather is off. Landing gear is down. Exterior lights off. Ice protection off. Prop sync is off. Propeller levers fully forward. There we go. Condition levers cut off. And flaps are up, which they are. Friction lots, can't redo that. I've got that on my honeycombs. That's all good. Trim is centered. Centered. I had a bit of a shock the other day. I do not know why, but I didn't do the full checklist. I didn't check my trim, and unusually I had a heck of a lot of down trim in, and I took off and had to fight it for a while until I realised what was actually going on with it. But again, that's another reason why checklists are a damn good idea, especially in something like this. Oxygen manual dropout is there. We want that there. That's if in the case of we have a main oxygen emergency, we can hoik that up, and then the passengers in the back will get their oxygen mask down if the automatic system hasn't done it already. Passenger oxygen here is on. While we're doing that, we will quickly check our backup pilots. Yeah, there we go. Make sure that's all set for my mystery co-pilot. Right, we did that. Cabin pressure mode is in the pressure position, which it is. Rudder boost on. Electric trim on. Cabin master is off at the moment because we haven't got that on. Yeah. Cabin lights is required. That's absolutely fine. I don't do much to fiddle with those, to be honest with you. No smoking and FSB will set to on. Vent blower is down here and we want that to low, which it is. Cabin temperature as desired. We can fiddle with that when we actually power everything up. Bleed air valves environment off. Air blower after blower as required. We'll stick that on. Start heating them up because they're getting cold in the back, bless them. Electric heater we've got off, and oxygen pressure we're looking for between 550 and 1850 psi, which it is over here. My apologies, as I'm looking down at my checklist, you're looking down at here, so that's why that keeps changing. So apologies if it goes a bit funny. Right, alternate static air is normal. Co-pilot circuit breakers. Quick look at that, please, Mystery Co-pilot. Everything's looking good. You can actually fiddle with these, so you can kind of implement different failures and things. And lighting master as required. I am going to pop that on for ready for when the batteries come on. Windshield wipers are off. Cockpit lighting as desired. Microphone source is normal. Battery master, here we go. Let's have the battery on. I'm not going to use external power. Everything pings to life. Always a nice bit. And let's have a quick check of the voltage. Yeah, that's good. We're looking for 24 and we've got that. Annunciators test. Everything's coming on like a Christmas tree. Annunciator brightness set. We don't need to do that. And we'll check our fuel. And fuel is looking good. That's exactly what we wanted. Excellent. Okay, so that completes the before starting engine checklist. So let's now go to engine start. We want the beacon light on. Propeller area is clear. Make sure we haven't got any silly billies around. No, that's good. Generator ties, manual close at night. Well, that's absolutely fine. We don't need to change that. Right starter. Let's just check that's where it should be. Yeah. Right starter, start. And I'm just going to, with the condition lever, once it stabilizes, there, put it into low idle. And then once we get to 50 ng, that's when we take the starter off. And that's fine. And we will, there we go, cycle the right generator. That's all good. So looking back now at the checklist, so we've done that. That's fine. ITT should be keeping closer eye on that. We'll certainly do that with the second engine. But that's absolutely fine. Should be less than 1090, and it is. Oil and temperature pressure. Everything's looking good there. We've done the generator. The right DC generator is extinguished, which it is. Right, let's check the load. What's it? It's between 10 and 50%, which it is. And the volts on the generator should be 28, which they are. Perfect. Battery amps are, oh, they're not positive. Okay, maybe that's because we've got a few bits and bobs on. But it's not negative, so that's the main thing. We're not actually draining it at the moment. Where do we get to? Right, so now we're going to put the right lever into high idle. And because we're doing a generator assisted start here on the left engine. So let's let that stabilize. Everything's tickety-boo there. Good, good, good. Okay, now we will come over and we'll do the left starter, and we're going to watch the ITT a bit more closely on this one to avoid or to look out for a hot start. So watching the NG rise here. Safety is about 12-13%, but we're going to let it stabilize because that's kinder to the engine. There we go, into low idle down here. Watch the ITT. That's nice, nice, nice. That's good. As you can see, that's our kind of limit there. If we go over there, we've got a bit of a problem. NG coming to 50, so we can turn the starter off. Come here. And we can cycle the generator. And we'll also cycle the right generator as well. And now we will bring the right condition lever back to low idle because we don't need that extra power. Right, back to the checklist. Let's quickly check. Everything's good. T's and P's are good. Our left DC gen light has come out. Let's check how we're looking. Load is good. And our volts are good. That's cool. Okay. Battery amps, what are we now at? We're still at 0. Generator ties, normal. That's fine. Right generator, hold reset, we've done that. Left generator volts, so we're going to quickly... I don't know if I can do that. Let's see. So it's saying right generator, hold reset. Maybe I need to set this up. We'll do it this way. I've only got so many mices and fingers. So right generator. Come on, let me do it. Oh. Bring everything back to life. There we go. That is so fiddly. What we're doing, so the left generator, we're looking for 28. And it is. And then we're going to do the same here. Got to get this click spot absolutely right. There we go. Hang on, need to do that there, don't I? There we go. That's 28. That's good. So we're kind of looking at the alternate generators to make sure that the voltage, if we turn one generator off, that the other generator is holding at the voltage. So that is absolutely fine. This here is a really fiddly beast. It's so easy to accidentally pull down the gang bar there and turn everything off as I did then. So you've really got to get your click spots lined up nicely. Right, so we've done that. So that really completes now. What have we got down here? That's absolutely fine. Just checking all our bits and bobs. That now completes the engine start checklist when we're doing it on a battery. Right. Just having a quick look here. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to fire up the avionics now. Actually, no. Let's do the checklist. So before taxi is the next checklist. And we're going to do the fire detector test, which is over here. So we're looking in these spots here. Just check everything comes on as it should do. That's all good. Weak it over to the other side. That's all good. Okay. Fire enunciators, we've observed. The gear handle lights. Wrong one. It's over here, isn't it? Come here. Where the hell is it? There it is. There we go. That's working. Still warning test. That is over here somewhere. There we go. That's good. It's a sound we don't really want to hear. Gen ties are open. Gen ties annunciator illuminated. Center volts matches battery. So that's now what, 25? Come here. Get this click spot the right way. Yep, that matches. Center volts. What's that? Center volts, 8 volts. There we go. No, it's a heck of a lot more than that. Gen ties normal. Center volts 2. Yeah, I haven't got a clue where I'm reading that. But there is no 8 volts there, that's for sure. Bus sense test. So we come back over here. Hold that. Generator ties annunciator. Hang on, come back. Yeah, generator ties annunciator is illuminated. Bus sense reset. There we go. Generator ties extinguished, which they are. Generator tie annunciators. Right, I feel like we've missed something here. Generator ties. norm. Yeah, I should have put that back. So now they're extinguished. So let's do, there we go, and reset. Okay, that's worked. Generator size is extinguished. Triple feed volts, or triple fed volts, 28, yeah. Okay, bleed air valves open. Pneumatic pressure is in the green. Temperature mode, auto. Duct temperature as required. Let's have a quick look here and see where we are. I'm not going to change that. Vent blower, auto. Electric heater is required, don't need to worry about that today. Cabin master is on. Cabin accessories as desired, don't need anything at the moment. Gyrosuction green, gyrosuction green, yep. AC inverters on, let's have those bad boys on now. And AC bus annunciators extinguished. Yeah. AC frequency 400 Hertz. Yeah. Weather radar off standby. So we will keep that here. And this actually does a lot more on this sim. It will give you your engine conditions if you need to do any repairs or anything like that. But for the moment, we'll stick it into standby. Avionics master on. There we go. Remote compass slaved and aligned. Yeah.
TAS system test OK.
Let's have a quick check at that. So what are we doing? That's okay. That's good. That looks right. Everything's fine with that. Okay. Right, what was that? So we've just done the slaved and aligned. I've lost my place in the list. Flight instruments are set. So we've got, let's do a quick check. We've got the QNH dialed in there. What I will do at this point now is we're going to put the flight plan in. So let's come back. Flight plan. I'm going to, as I've already saved this, we're going to load it up. Where is it? EHGG. Hopefully it will appear here. There we go. Okay. And we've got one dodgy one here. So we're going to activate. It will come up with a message saying lock waypoints must be removed. So we're going to go back to store. Then we find it and we edit it and we find out what the interesting, it hasn't taken any, sod's law, isn't it? Hasn't taken any of the flight plan. That is honestly the first time that that's happened. Okay, so let's get this dialed in. Right, very quickly, bear with. I'm going to get the Simbury flight plan up. Amazing, isn't it? Go to make a video and it's the first time this has happened. I guess because it's quite a short route. So we're going to add our SID. I guess this is just a chance to show how this bit works, or to actually practice doing this bit. So our departure today is going to be, what was it, PAM 3D. There we go. There we go, departure, that's fine. Transition at PAM, load departure. And then we'll go back again, and our star is the Woody 7A. Okay. And here we have, and again, this is Sod's Law. We have a difference between the, because this TDS is an older air rack compared to the Navigraph. We've had a change of name in the star. So bear with me, because what I have to do now, this is all very realistic. This is how it works when you're doing this kind of thing. I've now got to find out very quickly which of these stars actually corresponds. Oh, actually, no, I know what it's done. I know what it's done. It's the wrong airport, isn't it? Let's go back again. Normally, that would actually give me the destination airport. What was it? EBBR. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. There we go. There you are. Cool. You didn't let me down. And the transition is Woody, which it is. So that's wonderful. Now let's just quickly go back, because I want to check. It's unusual. No, it's in there. Usually when you do the procedures, it would offer you the destination that's in the flight plan when you're doing a star. For some reason this time it didn't. So that's absolutely fine. So how are we looking now? So that's going to take us out to austere GG528. Just checking my flight plan here. I think this is why it's why we've got this difference. The route actually, when I look at it on the map, is so short. There's only a tiny segment between the SID and the star. So what's the last point did we say there? I told you this was going to be a long one. Austere, there we go. And GG528. Burning precious fuel here, which is not a good idea. Then from GG528 we're going straight to PAM. Which is fine, so that's in there. Happy with that. Okay. That's good. Okay, happy with that. Quickly check on there. Just going to quickly check that that looks like what I'm looking at here, which it does. Yep. Good. Okay, back in. Okay, that's fine. So we've done that, got that programmed in, absolutely fine. Just double checking over here, everything's looking good there. Sorry, when I say there, I'm looking at various different things on my other monitors, really to do with the ATC, but that's all good to go. Okay. So, what do we get to? The flight instruments set, audio and radios are set. Our last instruction was, let's have a look. There we go, Squawk 5252. So let's pop that in. 5252, and we'll just put it on at the moment. Actually, no, let's put it on altitude reporting. That's in there, that's absolutely fine. Actually, no. Remind me, I need to change to altitude reporting just before we take off. It's one of those little things I'm bound to forget. Right, we did the bum. So our next frequency is tower on 118.7. We're already connected into that. That's absolutely fine. Okay, flight controls. Let's pop the yoke back in. And everything's good there. Yep. Get rid of the yoke. Annunciators, consider external power is blinking because it's available if we wanted it. Instrument flags, consider. Everything's working. exterior lights as required, so we'll pop the nav on now, the tail flood, and we'll put the taxi on because we're about to start moving. Okay, I'm going to do the next bit after we've done that. We do a brake test, but we're not quite ready to move just yet. So now I'm just going to have a quick look around and just check everything is where it should be. There's certain systems that we haven't quite put in yet, which we'll be putting in shortly. There is a lot of testing to go through in this. Ready for taxi, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234 taxi to runway 23 via taxiways Kilo, Alpha, Sierra 1, hold short runway 23.
Taxi to runway 23 via taxiways Kilo, Alpha, Sierra 1, hold short runway 23, Meridian 234. Okay, so let's have a quick look on the old map here. So what did she say? She said Kilo, which we don't seem to have on here. Okay, so we can't get over there because there is a barrier in the... no, we could do. The only thing I will note is that there is a wingspan restriction over there. And our wingspan is too high, so this is one of those unusual things where the ATC's got it slightly wrong. It is asking rather a lot for it to be clever enough to know what my wingspan is. So there's no way we can fit through that gap. So we are going to have to ignore ATC. My apologies, and we're going to follow. We'll go Bravo Golf Alpha and come around that way, because otherwise we're going to bang the wings on something. And as much as ATC won't appreciate us ignoring their instruction, the airport manager is liable to be rather peeved if we start banging into things. So while I'm here, I'm just going to very quickly put a couple of other things on. We'll put the pitot heat on just because it feels comfortable doing that. I'm going to put the windshield anti-ice on as well. This isn't following the checklist. This is just the kind of things that I know doing the sort of manual flows that I've been doing. Manual flows, is that the right word? That's the kind of thing I would do. Okay, what have we got here? That's fine. It's one of the interesting things about operating this aircraft that I have found is very easy to get into bad habits, like with anything. This is probably the second time I've actually really taken notice of the checklist. There we go, 24 meters, we're fine for that. And I think it's important, a video like this really is warts and all for you. There's mistakes are going to be made. I am an absolute rookie at certainly doing it to this kind of level. So it's a good thing for you to see where I'm going wrong, for me to remember where I'm going wrong, and also just to show you how it all works. And when it goes wrong, at least you're still getting something out of it. It was interesting when I flew into here the other day. It was actually night, and I thought, blimey, heck, they've got this wrong. All these solar panels next to the taxiway, that's ridiculous. But that is actually how it is in life. I'm just coming over to the left slightly because I'm a little bit nervous about those solar panels there. At this point, ATC is saying, where the hell's he going? I didn't tell him to go that way. To be fair, also, I've been using the ATC for a good number of weeks now, and that's the first time it's given me an ATC instruction that wouldn't necessarily work. And that's really just because of how weird and complicated this airport is with regards to the restrictions on the wingspan there. So I'm quite happy with that. And you notice that even though I'm taking a different route, she's not shouting at me, which is good. You can, for Pilot2ATC, you can get voice packs. You can subscribe to Amazon. I forget the name of them. but you can take a subscription out with Amazon AWS, and you can have more human voices put into it. But there is obviously a cost involved to that. I think it's like a monthly subscription. I don't know how much that would work out in the end, and you get a certain amount of period free. At the moment, I'm quite happy with the robots, but we'll see how it goes. It could be that at some point I might actually decide to upgrade my voices a bit and have something a little bit more human. But we'll see. You have to watch the speed taxiing this because it can get away a little bit. This is a freeware airport scenery that I've got from flightsim.to, and I'll whack it in the notes below just so you can see it if you were thinking of doing a similar route. Quite good, really. Give it a bit of beans so we can get up to the holding point, and then we're going to do the run-up checks. What? More checks? Oh yes, you wanted checks. You wanted realism. You got it. Check us out. And other really corny plays on the word check, which I'm not going to do. Okay, just coming up to the holding point. So I've got multiplayer on, and I have got a little bit of AI going on as well. Is that the fire truck? They must have heard we were coming in. Right, shut up, let's get on with the checklists. So before takeoff, run up checklist. Nose wheel is centered. It is. Parking brake is set. There we go. Electric trim, actuate. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, well that's on. Pitch wheel is in takeoff. Yeah, it is. I'm just going to give it a little two-shift up a little bit. Right. Electric trim cycle. Pitch trim annunciator observe. Oh, idiot. There we go. Pitch trim off. There we go. Right, your damper engage. Come here. Do you know, it's really frustrating. I've got my glasses on and they'd slipped down my nose a bit, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. Right, your damper is engaged. Yeah, we've done that. Rudder boost cycle. So we'll take that off, and this time we will look at the annunciator. Where's you gone? Yeah, there it is. And we will pop that back on, so that just checks that that's all working fine. Autopilot master engage. Autopilot annunciators observe, and disconnect. We don't need him just yet. Engine ICE actuators are on standby. Engine ICE actuators, the engine anti-ice annunciators are illuminated, which they are, because we've got that on and we've got that on. That's good. Anti-ice actuators back to main. Engine anti-ice as required. We're going to leave that on because we're ground operations. I'll talk a bit more about that in the air. Power levers are to idle. Auto ignition now comes on. Lost my place in the thing. Auto ignition. Where have you gone? Auto ignition is armed. Ignition annunciators are illuminated, which they are. They are. Power levers advanced through 17%. So let's have a look there. So that's 17% torque. There's a bit of a lag with the turboprop, so you don't want to chop the throttles open too much because otherwise it'll race away with you. But we want to see those. There we go. Keep going. That's it. There we go. So they've come off. back down again. Find my ignition annunciators come back on and auto ignition off. Prop governor test, which is down here. So we're going to hold that and advance through 1600 RPM, and we should be limited to 1600 RPM. Obviously, we'd be doing this a lot quicker once we got some practice. There we go, and it's stopped at 1600 RPM. Let's bring the engine back down again, and we'll let go of that. The next test we're going to do is the low pitch stop. So we're going to hold that to the ground idle stop. The prop pitch annunciators will be illuminated, and then we're going to cycle the propeller levers, and then we're going to put them fully forward and then back to idle. Sorry, that's the power levers. Sorry, I'm just reading this just to remember. I've done this a couple of times now, and it's a bit of a fiddly one. We are going to put the power back on. Not too much. There we go. That'll be enough. Now, hold the ground idle stop. We pull the prop levers back. We watch the RPM. The RPM stays at 1500. We then propeller levers fully forward. We bring the power levers back to idle. Release the ground idle stop, and the prop pitch lights are extinguished, which went out, which was fine because that's what we wanted. They've come back on again now. We wanted to see those extinguish. We now power levers advance to 25% torque. Again, just being a bit careful because it will race away. Hang on a sec. We jumped ahead then. Right, auto feather, we need to hold test. There we go. Missed that bit. Power levers advanced to 25% torque. This is the only thing with using a printed list. I'm kind of looking down at that. There we go. Let's hold it. Let's get to 25. We can see that the auto feather lights have now come on. They're both illuminated. We'll slowly reduce the left power, and we need to see the right AFX annunciator extinguished below 17%. There he goes. So that's gone out. Turn the page in the checklist. And what we're going to do now is carry on with the left AFX annunciator test. We're going to reduce power now down below 10, and that should then go out. There we go. That's now gone out. Left prop RPM feather and cycles and feather. Now we should unfortunately Honeycomb Bravo won't feather at the moment. There is a way of doing it using controller software, which I haven't got, so I can't. I've got to miss that bit out. I could do it if I wasn't having to hold down a switch. I could do it with the mouse, but I'm having to hold down a switch with the mouse, so unfortunately I can't do that. Right, so we will put that back up, and then the left power lever we advance to 25% torque. Let's let that come back up again. Come back down. There we go. Both AFX annunciators are illuminated. Now we're going to do the same with the right. So we reduce the right down to 17, and we want to see the left AFX go out, which it has. Went a bit too far then. And then we're going to take it down even more. And when it goes down to, let's go down to 10, it should the right should also go out. There we go. We'll cycle the right prop Do it gently. There we go. Left power lever to idle. Sorry. Left power lever to idle. Both are extinguished. AFX annunciators. Can't do the unfeathering with the right prop, and so we're going to just release that now, bring everything back to normal, and now we can arm the auto feather. There we go. I didn't have to hold that down. I just realised it was already down there. Here's me feverishly clicking on the left button. Right. Okay, where did we get to? So auto feather is done. Windshield anti-ice. Put that onto high. And now we observe. Okay, let's go back to normal where we had it. Let's look at the load meters here. The generator load meters, so just on 40. Now put it onto high, and we want to check the load has gone up a little smidgen. Interestingly, let's have a play. Take those off. Yeah, just a little bit. Propeller de-ice on. I'm going to pop that back onto normal. Propeller de-ice on, and we're seeing prop amps there has gone up. That's fine. Where we go? Prop amps is back to 0 now that we've done that. Yes, it is. Cycle de-ice, single fluctuate. Check the pressure over here. That should bounce. Sometimes takes a few seconds from when I did it before. There it goes. Got a little bounce there. That's fine. That shows that that's working. Surface de-ice, hold to manual, and we want to see it bouncing again, or fluctuating is the official term. Again, takes a bit of a time to actually, if I release it now, you should see the pressure come up. There you go. So that's working. Right, pressurization control. We're going to check that now. Oh yes, more checks and tests than you could ever dream of. Let's bring that down. So we want it 1,000 feet below field elevation. We're in Holland. We're actually, well, we're below sea level anyway, so I'm going to pop it down onto there. So we are well below, and then we're going to, on the pressurization, we're going to hold it to test, and we want to see that there's a difference with the, we want to see a descent over here. We've got environment on here, so the bleed air is going to help power that. We're only going to do it very quickly as well. We just need to see the descent. So test, descent, and release. There we go. So that's all working. We're going to look over here now, and we're going to put the left. No change with pressurization on the bleed air. Actually, let's. Does it go all the way off? Yeah, it goes all the way off. Let's do it properly, boy. No change. Get the click spots lined up. No change. Sorry, we're looking over here at the pneumatic pressure. Right, bleed air valves are open. Flaps as required. We'll put it one notch down for takeoff. Flaps indication is correct. Fuel quantities check, still looking good. We've burnt some fuel because we've been sitting on the ground waffling, but we've got so much fuel on board. SimBrief gives you more fuel than you could ever, well, no, it gives you accurate fuel for an accurate flight. Flight instruments check. So we've done our QNH. Our runway is 23. I'm just going to line that up. Boom, 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 boom. Do you know, actually, I'm going to do it on the old Bravo because it's a bit quicker. it's handy to get that set up. You know, as any of you who already do this kind of stuff will know, a lot of this is anything you can get set up beforehand really helps with the workload, because it is quite a high workload. Okay, so that's that done. Flight instruments check. Okay, and battery ammeter, charge current less than 10 amps. We're not actually charging at the moment, we're just kind of steady, which is okay. I'm just going to now depart from the checklist and just have a quick look that everything is okay. And I'm happy with everything. That's fine, that's fine. These are all on, these are all where they should be. That's fine, that's fine. Okay. We're about to take off, so we will have the taxi off and the landing on. And everything else is fine. Right, before takeoff checklist, electric heater is off. Generator loads check. They're fine. Battery ammeter charging or zero. It's zero. We've already established that. Ice protection. I'm going to keep some of these on. We're going to be climbing through cloud. I'm actually going to put the prop on. Oh, there we go. So outside it's 5 degrees, so it's a little bit chilly. So it's best to be on the safe side. Auto ignition we've got on. Auto feather is armed because we just popped that on just before. Engine anti-ice I've got on. Transponder is on. We're just about to take off, so I'm going to put it on altitude reporting now. Weather radar is we'll pop that on. Wrong switch, you idiot. There we go. On. Propeller levers fully forward. Yep. Condition levers. Now on this checklist it says high idle. I've seen a lot of this is one of those sort of rabbit holes you can go down when you start researching stuff. A lot of real world pilots, unless you're in certain conditions, short field takeoff, going into reverse thrust, high altitude density, as in high altitude density, where you're high up and the air is thin, if you put it onto high idle. High idle doesn't give you any more power, it just gives you a higher idle, and it means that it's a little bit more responsive. Because we're in Holland, because we've got a nice long runway, I'm going to keep it in low idle. It's a little bit kinder to the aeroplane, and after all I want to look after the company's aeroplane because I want to keep a job, simple as that. Right, so we've done that. Auto feather is armed, the transponder is on and alt. We're in the way, propeller leaders, condition leaders, high idle. Annunciators, what have we got on? Anything that we need to worry about? No. The yellow or amber no fuel or left no fuel transfer. That's just because the power is so low. Annunciators test to consider, and then we will be ready to go and line up. So let's have a quick look. While I've been doing all that, there's nothing appeared. We might have a cube behind us for all I know. We're on the tower frequency, that's good. Meridian 234, ready for departure, runway 23.
234 winds are 148 at 8 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 23 squawk 5252.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 23, squawking 5252, Meridian 234. Now, one thing I'm going to quickly do is just bang in the box here. What did she say earlier? I think it was 120, wasn't it? We have got to be above 7,000 feet by Austere, I believe. So that's absolutely fine. But that looks about right. Okay, let's go. All the talking in the back is FS realistic. Talk a bit more about that once we get in the air. I'm not really convinced it was worth it at the moment, but we'll see. We're taxiing a little bit slowly, but that's only because I'm being careful with the power levers, because it's very easy for this to start picking up a lot of speed. Okay, let's just bring it to a halt. There we go. Right, another quick check. So this is all ready to go when I need it. That's all ready to go when I need it. That's fine. Everything is good. Everything is good down here. Okay. Right, takeoff checklist. Power levers, takeoff power. So what I'm going to do is just bring that just under 100% torque. You can, again, being gentle on the aeroplane, especially with a long runway like this, you don't have to go 100% torque. You can go 80, 90. We're going to go full beans. Actually, no. Do you know what? We'll do 90. Let's do 90 and be kind to the aeroplane. We've got plenty of runway. ITT, we're looking for 820 max. Pitch 10 degrees up at VR. Pitch up, blah, 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 blah. And then just need to remember flaps at 125 knots and cabin altitude difference in climb. We need to do that. So actually we need to set that because that's still down here. So let's whack that up. What's our cruising altitude today? It's flight level 180, so we'll put it 1,000 above. There we go, that's fine. I'm just going to turn the rate up just a smidgen. That's still where it should be. Bleed air is still where it should be, so that will work. And then we want to observe that. Okay, let's go. Brakes are on, power coming on now. Keep the power coming forward, holding on. Let's go. The crosswind there catching us. This is quite sensitive on the rudders, this aeroplane, as a lot of the default flight models seem to be. I'm not quite sure what the black square did to the flight model. Okay. Observe the climb on the cabin pressurization. Yeah, it's doing a little bit. Okay, now let's very quickly autopilot, nav, and climb. Let's have a quick look. Check that everything is good. I'm going to bring the prop back now. Just bring it underneath there. There we go. Everything's looking good. Climb is initiated on the pressurization. Climb rate's quite comfortable as well for the passengers.
Meridian 234 contact yield approach on 120.3. Enjoy your afternoon.
Approach on 120.3, Meridian 234. Right, we're tracking the departure nicely. Yield approach, Meridian 234 with you, climbing to flight level 120.
Meridian 234, good afternoon.
Murky, isn't it? Sometimes it'll say radar contact, but it hasn't then, which is slightly unusual. Looking at the ITTs, making sure we don't get too high on there. Prop RPM, we'll leave there. Torque, leave at 90. So let's have a look. Climb checklist, climb power levers, climb power. We've got ITT 785 max. That's fine, we're doing okay. Propeller levers 600 RPM as desired, so we can bring those back a little bit. That'll just make it slightly less noisy, less vibration for the passengers. Got to keep them happy. They pay the wages, don't they? Prop sync we can now put on, because we're nicely configured for that. Engine instruments, we need to keep an eye on those. T's and P's, everything is absolutely fine. We'll leave the ice protection on as we're climbing through the murk, and the pressurization controller. Set cruise altitude, we've already done that, and we are climbing.
Meridian 234, contact Amsterdam Center on 119.17. Good day.
Centre on 119.17. Take care, Meridian 234. There we go. So looking at here, we've got to be above flight level 70 by that point. The transition altitude here, we've actually already passed. It was 3,000 feet and missed that while I was looking at other things. So we now need to wind that down. There we go. Quick check here. That's fine. That's good. Happy with that. Climb rate is good. The climb control here gives you different climb profiles, gives you optimum climb profiles depending on the altitude. So for where we are at the moment, it's 160 knots is the optimum speed, and we're climbing just under 2,000 feet, which is absolutely fine. We need to make sure we're above 7, which we already are, so that's all absolutely marvellous. How are we doing in the back? Very quiet, aren't they? Very quiet passengers. Going to quickly check my FS Airlines. That's fine. That's showing us in climb, so that's showing that that's connected, which is always a bit of a relief. Take the landing lights off now. A quick look down here. Everything's good. T's and P's are good. Come back a little bit on the power now. Sorry. No, that's absolutely fine. Where that was. Prop RPM is good. ITT is good. Everything's looking fine down here. Quick check of the everything up here. That's good. Yeah, okay, we're good. What a relief. So I said I was going to talk about a few things, didn't I? Yes, so the engine icing on the ground. It's one of those interesting things, reading up on making sure I was flying this correctly. Some pilots say, no, I don't use the engine icing on the ground. Some pilots do. Certainly the pilot's handbook seems to say that you should do. And really all that that's doing is it's acting as an inertial separator, so any objects on the ground, FOD as it's called, and that sort of thing, stones, whatever, won't get sucked into the engine when it's on the ground. So it's just a safety thing to make sure you don't damage the engine. It does reduce the power that's available slightly, which is why some pilots aren't massively keen on it, but these days they actually advise that you should do it regardless, so we were just doing it by the book. And the outside temperature is -6, so we are going to make sure we've got all the bits and bobs on. That's fine. Looking at the wing and looking over here, we're picking up a little bit. Is that a little bit of ice there I can see? But we've got the propeller de-ice on, so that's absolutely fine. Not seeing anything on the wang. Where's the old... come here, there we go. Yeah, not seeing anything there. I'll leave that on at the moment just to be on the safe side. So we're level now at flight level 120. We are on the standard barometric setting, so that's all good. Oh, got a little bit of a bump there from something. Oh, look at that. Breaking above the cloud. Quite looking forward to getting climb from ATC. They've got us sat here at the moment. That is something we can ask for. See if I can ask for our cruise altitude, see if it'll let us do it. Meridian 234, request climb to flight level 180.
Meridian 234, climb to flight level 180.
Climb to flight level 180, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234, climb and maintain flight level 180. Meridian 234, expedite climb to flight level 180. Meridian 234, climb and maintain flight level 180. 234, climb and maintain flight level 180.
Climb and maintain flight level 180, Meridian 234. To be fair to the software, that is maybe the second time that's happened to me where ATC, it's almost like it suddenly wakes up and goes, oh yeah, you've asked for a climb. Yeah, I was meant to climb you. And then you get a trundle of, wow. You get a load of ATC requests come through. So now we're climbing to flight level 180. I've put a little bit of power back in. There'll come a point at the moment, well, we're probably kind of past that now, actually. We are past that. We're past the altitude where we're torque limited because the air's getting thinner, and now we are ITT limited. So that's really now what we need to keep an eye on and make sure that we don't break anything. How are we doing down here? Everything's tickety-boo. You're not seeing much in the way of sightseeing today because the weather is so awful, but for these flights I do like to fly realistic weather. Just adds to the immersion and makes it a little bit more real. So that is some pretty nasty weather ahead. Not very inspiring, is it? So yeah, I think, as I said, it's this isn't the kind of flying that you normally see on this channel. I've never really been interested in doing the airliner stuff, I have to say, really because my time is limited in what I can do. So setting up a flight like this takes time, so I can only do flights like this every now and again when I've got the time to do it. But the great thing about the King Air, especially with the with this black square Analogue add-on, is that it gives me an aircraft that's meaty enough that there's things that you need to remember, there's checklists, there's all the kind of things that you need to go through, but it's not so heavy that it's going to take ages and ages and ages to set up. Going through the checklist is taking me a little bit longer because doing it strictly by the checklist is new to me, so it's a bit clunky. Obviously at some point that just becomes a flow and you're using the checklist to check the flow that you've just done, so you can do it a lot quicker, and that will happen with time. And maybe down the road, if you're interested in these kind of videos, I'll do some more, and hopefully by then you'll see that that whole checklist thing is a lot quicker. Some people like the checklist thing, some people don't. I just popped it in because this is a full flight, and I thought it was only right to put it in there, even though I'm a bit of a rookie at it and a little bit clunky. So, right, let's do a few checks now. We can pop that off so everyone can walk around now. Cabin pressure is fine, that's good. So we've got our difference between the outside and the inside here, and then we've got the current cabin altitude there, which is all good, which matches what we wanted down here, so that's absolutely fine. Right. ITT for cruise, we want a maximum of 765, so I'm just going to, I mean, we're kind of round about there, but I'm just going to bring that back a little bit. So we are all good. T's and P's are good. Nothing untoward there. Fuel flow is okay. Slightly on the high side, so I will bring that back just a smidgen. Bring the props back just ever so slightly. Not really meant to fiddle around with the props too much with prop sync on, but they're quite nicely aligned and I've only moved those a little bit. Looking at the speed, that's good. Everything's fine. Good. Okay. And happy with the nav. So we're actually coming up now to our star transition. That's how quick this flight is, and we need to remember that we need to be down. What do we need to be down? We need to be above flight level 80 when we go over Woody. So that's just something we need to be aware of. Hopefully ATC will start giving us a descent at some point fairly soon. We haven't reached our top of descent by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes I find that we can sometimes come in a little bit too high with Pilot2ATC, so that's just something I want to be aware of. Just fiddling around here, taking some screenshots. Why not? One of these might end up being the thumbnail for the video, who knows. Don't normally show you this sort of thing, it's not very interesting showing you making thumbnails for the video, but there we go. It's quite dark and murky. We've got cloud up, we're kind of in between the cloud layer at the moment, so again, sorry for anyone who was looking at seeing some scenery. Normally that's really what I strive for in these, but in this occasion this is more about IFR flying, and this really is IFR flying. Although we're kind of caught in this ethereal space between the two cloud layers, which is actually quite interesting. Lelystad down on the ground over there somewhere. Anyone who's been with the channel for a while might remember from the Silver Spitfire videos that I did. That was the departure point on the last leg back to the UK, and I've done a little bit of flying in the sim down there. Again, checking around that everything is good. Happy with that. What I will do during this quiet space that we've got now is go back in and we'll go for waypoint, airport, EBBR frequencies. We haven't been given our approach yet, so but I'm thinking it's going to be runway 25, so we'll load that up on the ILS now, but obviously wait and see what the now I don't know if it's going to be ILS 25 left or 25 right, so actually the flight plan, or rather in Pilot2ATC it's predicting 25 left, so I'm going to go with that. We will make that active in nav1. There we go. And at the moment we're using the GPS to drive our HSI. I said it right the first time. So what I'm also going to do is pop it into nav2, because sometimes it's quite useful. Come here. Quite useful having a reference there as well. The more information you've got, the better, is how I see it. So I'll pop, come here. There we go. So that's all ready to go. I say 11035. Yeah, why have I put the wrong frequency in? 11035. Thought that didn't look right. And transfer. Get in there. There we go. Right, so coming up on PAM now. So yeah, I think what makes it interesting about this, doing this kind of thing, is it's just really the workload. It's like now I've got a bit of breathing space because I'm not really having to do anything apart from monitor. Let's should we do anything with our anti-icing? I'm going to take the prop anti-icing off. Leave the windscreen on because it takes a while to do that, and I'm going to leave everything else on because that's fine. We've got no wing ice, so we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, I kind of getting to appreciate now what it's all about. I still don't think I ever want to get near any of the big airliners, but doing this kind of thing is just great because you've got so much to work on, you know, especially because there's just one of you, that it kind of keeps you on your toes, and you don't end up really looking outside much, which is just as well because we've got some pretty beautiful cloud here, but it's not like we're going to really see a great deal. And it's pretty thick. Something I have noticed in this sometimes is when the real world, this is set to live real world weather, sometimes the in-sim weather is a little bit more overcast than it is actually in the real world. So sometimes that makes it a little bit interesting. So actually now PAM is the, I think that's the last part of the standard instrument departure that we just did. So now we're heading down to Woody, which is the start of the star. So I was getting a little bit off my bearings there when I was talking about, I wonder if we're going to get into descent soon, because we've still got a bit of a way to go. So yeah, this is really where I'm at now. Really happy with flying the King Air. It's perfect for my virtual airline flights with Andras Meridian Airlines because it means that it's extended my reach a little bit. I can go a little bit further than just doing the little local flights. I've just been doing a little bit of a European tour in this, and it's perfect. And they're a great airline to fly for as well. They're a great bunch of guys, huge amount of knowledge there, huge amount of knowledge. And they give you the freedom to kind of play it how you want. You know, I'm quite happy sticking at the moment with the King Air being the largest aircraft. There's no pressure on you to step up. Really nice bunch of people, and you know, this ticks the box for me. I've obviously got the Warbird flying, the GA flying, and then I get to play kind of mini airline pilot doing this kind of stuff. So loving it at the moment. It's really good. Lots of different things that I can do. Obviously I'll put a link down below to Andras Meridian if you're interested in joining up. You can crack on. What are they doing in the back? Very quiet, isn't it? It would be quite nice actually if they, I did like in the Chancellor having passengers in the back. It just did make it a little bit more immersive. But I have to say I love the King Air. The Black Square King Air is just great fun. I love the fact that I can have my nice analog instruments, and also I can pop my TDS GTN into it. If I want to go really old school, take the GTN out and just fly VOR with the radio equipment that's in there. So there's a lot to do with this, and it's just great fun. It really is. got anything in the way of icing building up, which you'd expect because we're still in this layer between cloud. Everything's good here. Fuel is good. Just reminded actually, I don't remember in the checklist anything to do with checking fuel, but maybe that's something that I say checking fuel. We obviously checked how much fuel we got, but the standby pumps and that sort of thing, I wonder if that's something that I missed. Don't remember doing that when I've used this checklist before, and this is the checklist from the Black Square book. Standby and crossfeed pumps, you just have to make sure you've got those off when you start off. Yeah, not seeing those in the checklist. Maybe that's an omission. I don't know. I would kind of expect the maybe mind you, it's not so much as an auxiliary, is it? It's not in the protect list, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I have seen some videos, real world videos, where they mess about with the pumps and they check those, but as I say, not in this checklist. So, route's doing nicely. We're now coming up to Woody, which is the start of the star. Will be interesting to see at what point we get any kind of altitude change in structure from ATC. According to the Pilot2ATC version of the flight plan, we are at 180 until top of descent, obviously, and then we can start coming down. Top of descent is before Woody. It's just before we get to Roosendaal. Again, any Dutch people watching, I apologise if I've just murdered your language. But that's the point where I'd expect ATC to start giving us descent, and if ATC doesn't, then I'll damn well ask for it. Now again, according to Pilot2ATC flight plan, we plan to be at flight level 135 over Woody. So that's what we're going to aim for. And then just reminding myself, yeah, we need to be above 80.
Meridian 234, expect the Woody 7 Alpha arrival with the Woody transition with vectors for the ILS Yankee approach to runway 25 left at Brussels National.
Expect the Woody 7 Alpha arrival with the Woody transition with vectors for the
Meridian 234, turn left heading 175 vectors to the ILS Yankee approach for runway 25 left at Brussels National. Maintain flight level 180, contact approach on 129.72.
So it's taking us off the star and it's going to vector us. This will be interesting. Heading 175, vectors to the ILS Yankee approach for runway 25 left, maintain flight level 180, approach on 129.7 to Meridian 234. Right, what does it say? Heading 175, so let's go onto there. Now this is where it gets a bit more interesting. When ATC starts vectoring you around, let's check, we're in the turn, we are. When ATC starts vectoring you around, that's when it can get a little bit more complicated, because now instead of the star being in control, or the rather GTN procedure being in control of the autopilot, now we're doing it on headings. What did she say? Heading 175. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, this starts to get a bit more complicated now. Anyway, we need to contact approach. Brussels approach, Meridian 234 with you, level at flight level 180.
Meridian 234, good afternoon. Meridian 234, turn left heading 175. Meridian 234, turn left heading 175, descend to flight level 070. Meridian 234, maintain flight level 070. Meridian 234, turn left heading 135.
So again, blatting out a load of instructions, and this seems to be what happened when it's trying to do various different things.
Vertical track.
Heading 135, Meridian 234. So I can't actually respond to the other instructions that she gave me because she's given me so many instructions. So anyway, we're going to descend now. I've put us into descend mode. We're going to descend to flight level 070. Transition. What was the transition here? I think it was 3,000 feet on the star. So we'll see. Let's bring that back now. Everything's good. I'm just going to double check the instructions that she gave us. So it was 175. Was it 17? What did she give us? Turn left heading 135. Let's give that a bit more. There we go. Send to that 135, and then she told us to descend to flight level 70, which we're doing. So we're in the descent. Everything's tickety-boo. Having a quick look at the Pilot2ATC map, I can see that it looks like she's trying to fly us onto an intercept. So I'd expect her to give us a right turn any minute now. Let's hope so. On the power a little bit, increase the prop slightly. Going to take the prop sync off while I start fiddling about with these. There we go. ITT is good. Now change our cabin altitude. Let's just flick through on here. There we go. Come back. So we're going to wind it all the way back. There we go. So there we go. It says it should be the destination altitude, but that doesn't seem to give you a precise one. Be interested to know, actually, something I should have checked on. Anyone who's an expert with these, should I be selecting the altitude, airport altitude on the outer ring or the
Meridian
using the inner ring?
Turn left heading
I'm thinking inner ring.
Descend to flight level 060.
What did she say? Turn left heading 120. Do this first. We're still in descent mode, that's good. Heading 120, descend to flight level 060, Meridian 234. I've learnt to do the commands first and then do the readback second, just because while I'm a little bit slower it makes it a little bit easier. Right, let's have the prop anti-ice on because we're about to go into the Claude. Everything else is good.
Meridian 234, turn right heading 165, descend to 4,000 feet, QNH is 1017.
So we've got another turn coming in. This is what it gets like. We'll come back 165 and down to 4,000. Heading 165, descend to 4,000 feet, QNH is 1017, Meridian 234. was it, 1017. Let's come back on the power. We need to lose some height a little bit more than we are at the moment. Right, so I want to quickly, what did she say? We were looking at 25 left, weren't we?
Meridian 234, turn right heading 180.
Heading 180, Meridian 234. So she's just vectoring us around now. It kind of makes sense. When I look at the, let me take a screenshot of it for later. When I look at the, actually no, this might bugger up with the everything else. I'll remember to do that. When I look at the Pilot2ATC map, it kind of makes sense, this vectoring that she's doing. She's taking me around. Obviously I'm still quite high, and she's just vectoring me in for the ILS approach. I do need to lose some more height though. So we're on QNH now. We are off the standard barometric setting. Just saw the right ignition was on then, just checking that. So I vaguely remember something about you should never let the torque drop too low, and I'm a little bit guilty of doing that there. Okay, so let's have a look here. Check, 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 making sure I'm not doing anything stupid. On the heading she asked us to be on. We're descending. Power is okay. Everything is good there. The cabin is looking okay. Just depressurizing. Or is it 4,000? That's still on. That's still on. That should be there. That's fine. That's okay. That'll be doing its thing. Difference between the outside and the inside is decreasing. As it should be. You can see we've gone way off track on here, but we will trust air traffic control to know what they're doing. Right, let's just get in a slightly better position here. Suddenly realised I've got a cup of tea here and I've hardly touched it. That's the kind of pilot I am. Safety first, always. Coming up to, or coming down to the altitude now. Let's just have a quick check. Airport. 25 left, 110, okay, that's fine. And we've got that one there in the box as well. Just checking my frequencies there. Right, descent, that's fine. I say that's fine. I'm doing this like you can read this. So pressurization controller we've done.
Meridian 234, you are 30 nautical miles northeast of Brussels National Airport. Fly heading 220, descend to 3,000 feet, cleared for ILS to runway 25 left, contact tower on 118.6. Good afternoon.
So let's get these in now. While we're doing it, descend to 3,000 feet. Come back. Descend. Fly heading 220, descend to 3,000 feet, cleared for ILS approach to runway 25 left, tower on 118.6, meridian 234. Okay, we're descending, we've got our change in the box there. Brussels Tower, meridian 234 with you, descending to 3,000 feet.
Meridian 234, good afternoon. Continue ILS to runway 25 left, call when established on final. Meridian 234, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at 400 feet.
Roger the traffic, meridian 234. Okay, now my ILS hasn't come on. Oh yeah, no, there we go. That doesn't feel like it's... Let's have a quick look here. Getting a tad paranoid. Yeah, no, that's okay. Just watching the needle, it's starting to change now. Let's just bring it on gently. This is absolutely in the murk, isn't it? It's going to be very interesting. We don't seem to have any glide slope at the moment. Meridian 234 established on final for runway 25 left.
Meridian 234, winds are 179er at 7 knots, cleared to land runway 25 left.
Cleared to land runway 25 left, Meridian 234. Right, glide slope has just come in. That's a lovely, lovely feeling. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's nice to see. Right, okay, because we have got nothing here. This is proper instrument flying, which is something I'm not used to. But don't worry, we're going to be okay. Right, I'm going to hand fly it now. Good luck to us all. Autopilot off. Let's bring it to the left slightly. Don't want to climb. There we go. Let's chop the power back a little bit. Alright, just having a quick look at the checklist there. That's fine. Okay. This is why it's handy to have a co-pilot. Prop sync is off, that's fine. I haven't got time to read the checklist at this point, I'm afraid to say. Let's stop that sync. Check the speed. A little bit more on course now. Watching the needle. Again, arrest that sync. Trim a little bit, which will help. Speed is 160, but I'm not putting the gear down just yet. Still got a bit of a distance to go. Just turning slightly just to get us back on course, keeping us level. Having a quick look down, landing lights are on, that's good. Engine NTIS is still on, we're in the clag, happy with that. Check the speed. Okay, we just come slightly over. Apologies if I don't talk much, I'm having to concentrate in my limited intelligence. Now, something we do need to do is put the windscreen wipers on, which do actually work in this. So let's just give it a slight left there, because we need to bring us back on. And where have you gone? There we go. Just something else to wave around in the sight line. interesting doing instrument flying. It's a different kettle of fish. And it's funny, doing something like this makes you realise just how much you need to practice it, because I'm pretty ropey at it, to say the least. We're kind of flying a little bit all over the place with the instruments, chasing the instruments here, which of course is what you're not really meant to do. And try not to be distracted by the fact that I'm making a video, and on screens next to me I've got all sorts of things flashing and changing to do with the ATC. Yeah, we're going too far to the left now. Let's bring it back. Let's just intercept that nice and gently. Maintaining 3,000 feet until we bang into the glide slope. Concentrate, lad. Ooh, got the ground at last. Nice to see. It's coming back to intercept. It's amazing how quickly, if you don't 100% concentrate, you can drift off the localizer slightly. Right, let's pull the power back. Going to drop the gear now. Power back on, watch your flaps. Let's get back into concentration mode. Drifting over slightly. We're sinking as well. Let's bring that back. Runway in sight. That makes our job a little bit easier. That's a lovely warm feeling, that is. A bit more flap now. It's amazing how just having that, just that little smidgen of visual cue there from being able to see the runway, even in the sim, just gives you that sense of relief. We're going to intercept the glide slope now. Gently bring that through. Flaps all the way. Let's turn the windscreen wipers off now because I'm not seeing that. There we go. Okay, looking nice. Still slightly below the glide slope, so we'll just ease it off. We need to come over to the left a little bit. Quick look down. Let's cancel the blinking lights, please. Watching the glide slope, still off, so we're going to be a little bit more drastic with our move to the left. Right, okay, let's have a quick look at checklists. Landing gear is down locked, ICE is on as required, prop sync is off, landing gear flaps full, cabin differential. Oh, this is not a good time to be looking at it. Is 0, which it isn't quite at the moment, but we can dump that when we got on the ground. Propeller levers fully forward, autopilot disconnected, we've done. There we go. And we're way too high messing about looking at checklists. So let's concentrate on flying the aeroplane, shall we? Feels like we've got quite a strong crosswind. I'm going to stop flying the instruments now really and try and concentrate a bit more on old school, looking out the window and looking at the runway and the approach lighting, which suddenly feels so much more natural. Okay, a bit of crabbing required there. Okay, at this point I'm going to put the aircraft into high idle because we're going to use that for the reverse thrust. Again, we've got a nice long runway, so it doesn't really matter too much, but reverse thrust is one of those situations where high idle will help you. I should really stop talking.
500.
Meridian 234 exit runway when able.
Whew, that was gusty, to say the least. And again, that transition from the air to the ground physics in this sim, all of a sudden it's forcing you over to the left, having to use a huge amount of rudder with that crosswind. I do hope at some point that gets sorted out. Okay. Let's just move over here. Meridian 234 is clear of active.
Meridian 234, welcome to Brussels NATL, contact ground on 118.05. Have a nice day.
Ground on 118.05, Meridian 234. Right. Let's just hold it there. Raise the flap and talk to ground. Brussels ground, Meridian 234 with you.
Meridian 234, this is Brussels ground on 118.05, go ahead.
Request taxi to General Aviation, Meridian 234.
234 taxi to General Aviation parking.
Taxi to General Aviation parking, Meridian 234. Now, interestingly, normally we'd get some taxi instructions there, but it's not going to give us one, so we are going to I'm just looking on the map here to see if it actually gives the general aviation area, and it doesn't. So what I'm actually going to do is, to save a bit of time, we'll just park up over here, and then we're not taking up too much of your time. Okay, master caution off. Take some of these off now. How are we doing here? Yep, that's 0 now on the cabin pressure, so that's righted itself as we've come in. Flaps, sorry, I'm just doing the after landing checklist. Auto ignition is off, and we need to just request permission to cross here. See if this works. Request permission to cross runway 19, Meridian 234.
Meridian 234 cleared to cross runway 19.
Cleared to cross runway 19, Meridian 234. Okay, that worked. Let's put the weather radar off. We don't need that anymore. Okay, that's fine. Right, let's concentrate back on driving across the airfield before ATC starts to wonder who the hell's in charge here. Using the black square taxiway signs, for some reason on some I get errors like that, MMMMM. I've done the suggested fix where you transfer textures over, but for some reason I'm still getting that. It doesn't seem to happen too often, so I'm not too worried. I don't want to start fiddling about with it too much. I think that's probably quite a nice spot there to park. Again, what I should really be doing before anyone says, "Oh, I think you'll find," in the comments, yes, I should have looked at the airfield chart beforehand to see where the general aviation parking is. I didn't. That's one thing I missed because I was actually expecting them to tell me where to park, which is what they'll quite often normally do. But in this case, it didn't. Sod's Law operating nicely once again. So let's bring her up here and we will plonk here. Seems like a nice spot. Okay, so shutdown and securing. Parking brake on. That little bing bong there was the FS Airlines saying that it's closing the flight. Now that we've done that, that should have been on, shouldn't it? I just realised we should have had that on before. Right, parking brake is set. Auto feather is off. Bum, 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 bum. Come on. There we go. Auto feather is off. Exterior lights as required. Strobe should have come off. Landing lights should have come off after we landed, but I was concentrating so much on the ATC I forgot. Right, oxygen handles off. Pop that down. Emergency lights on at night. Not really night, so we don't need to do that. Avionics master off. The inverter's off. Come on, off you go. Cabin master off. Turn that off. Accessories, lights as required. No smoking off. Vent blower low. That's down here. Vent blower low. Electric heater is off. ITT is stabilized. Let's just plonk those off for a moment. Power levers are in flight idle. Note flight idle. Condition levers cut off. Propeller levers feather. For that we're going to have to do it manually. I think these auto feather anyway when they close down. Where do we get to? Okay, that's all good. We can switch all that off. Leave the beacon on for the moment. Tail flood we can have off. Have all these off. Quite a high load, so we don't really want those on. Off. Okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Everything's good here. That's good, good, good. And there we go. Boom. So, thank you very much for coming along. I appreciate that for a lot of you who are experienced with this sort of thing, that was possibly a little bit painful watching some of that, because I am, as I say, a complete rookie. But I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted it to be warts and all. I've still got a lot to learn. This is in no way a tutorial. I think that's perfectly obvious. But I'd be interested to know if you want to see more of this sort of thing on the channel. Let me know and I'll make sure I pop some up there. But in the meantime, thanks for joining and I shall see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.